MMA fans, joining me at this time in a special edition of our show, Strong Style, is Invicta FC fighter Killjoy Pendell. How are you?
What's up, everybody? I'm good. How are you?
I am doing good. And like me, it looks like you were in your home away from home, your car. I spent a lot of time in mine,
Oh, yes.
always on the go, always something to do.
Better
Now, of
busy
course,
than bored.
yes, absolutely, absolutely. Now, of course, you recently fought here in Atlanta at Invicta FC. You originally were going to face Krista Timms Usher, who had to pull out because of a knee injury. We actually had her on a couple weeks ago, just after that announcement. We'll see about maybe you guys uh, linking back up again, but they actually gave you Julia Dorney, and I looked into her, and that was a completely different style you had to deal with, was it not?
Yes, the biggest difference is just that Julia likes to come out and Chris is an Orthodox fighter, and most of the fighters I faced are Orthodox. So yeah, it's a different. We have to use different strategies when we're fighting in the open stance. So that was a fun, interesting challenge to have to game plan for that on short notice. But yeah, that's all right. You know, that's part of being a mixed martial artist is you simply have to be prepared for everything, every scenario, anything that could possibly happen, and somebody turning southpaw or coming out southpaw. That's just one of those possibilities we always have to be prepared for. And it was great to be able to test myself against the Southie.
Absolutely. And there was just a I don't know, weird, crazy sequence in that fight where you were actually on your back and she just kept doing the thing where you kick the back of the legs and stuff like that. At some point, her corner is even yelling, let her up," and this went on for like 3 or 4 minutes. Have you ever had anything happen like that in the cage before, where you're just doing the up kicks for almost 3 straight minutes?
No, I had not encountered that before. So again, that's a good thing for me to feel and have to deal with. Um, so yeah, I was surprised too that she didn't want to let me up. I had assumed that as long as I was showing, obviously I wasn't just gonna lay there. I was gonna do
Right.
something. So of course I'm kicking at her. I'm looking for my opportunity to do my technical stand up, but of course she was pressing in close and her body language was such that I knew she was gonna try to pounce on me and try to damage me as I came up. And so I didn't want to just recklessly do a technical stand up. And look, I'm a jiu-jitsu black belt. I'm a three-time world champion at Master One in nogi. So I feel very comfortable with my grappling. So if she did want to come in and engage, of course I would love that. But I wasn't expecting her to just want to jump into my guard. But yeah, I figured it was either she was gonna engage more on the ground or she would let me up. I didn't think it would just kind of end up where she was pressuring me, kicking me. But look, the kicks on the back of the legs don't do anything. I mean, honestly, they don't. I didn't. Like I'm not even like sore afterwards. Like you can kick me in my hamstrings as hard as you want. Like it does nothing. My left shin is a little sore just from checking, but again, it's no damage. So yeah, when I realized she was not going to let me up, and that and the I don't know how the judges are seeing it. I don't know if the judges feel. I mean, which one of us is being more offensive?
Hmm.
Me personally, but I'm biased. But me personally, I feel like I'm being more offensive because. Look, those kicks to the knees are much more dangerous than the kicks to the back of the thighs. But again, there's just no telling how the judges are seeing it. So I knew at a certain point, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have trouble technical standing up, but I felt that I could go for that wrestle up, and so yeah, there was a moment where I kind of caught her leg just a little bit with my legs, and all I needed was that moment of her sort of being a little off balance, and then I popped up, wrestled up, got on my double leg. She went for her throw. It was this real messy, you know, takedown. But I ended up on the back, which it's only how the takedown ends. It doesn't matter how it starts. So I ended up on the back, felt, a really dominant position, had my leg all the way across, starting to, I was going to get my body triangle, maybe get my choke, but of course time expired. But I did feel like that was a good way to end that round and show the judges that, I'm trying to advance and I'm trying to do damage.
Yeah, and we were talking on Media Row that we had never seen a sequence like that before that it went that long, and they were like, "Well, why do you think she's not letting her up?" And I explained the same thing. I was like, "Well, you're looking at a jujitsu black belt who's currently on the ground, just opening the door to say, please come in, please come down here." I said, and she wants no part of it. So when you did get tangled up and ended up on the ground at the end of the round, I said that's what she's trying to avoid. That's why she wanted to stand up the whole time. And of course, one round later, you made sure to prove why you don't go to the ground against you as 4:46 into the second, you get the rear naked choke. How deep was that in there on her?
When I first locked it up, to be honest, it wasn't at all. It was over the chin, but you can totally squeeze that over the chin, obviously, and make people tap. I mean, we all saw what happened to Robert Whitaker's teeth against that.
Mm-hmm.
I can't say any of those guys' names, but the Dagestanian guy, and he,
Yep.
yeah, like, so the face crank is real. I mean, that's a legitimate tap. And so I had it over her jaw, and I knew that if I bore down on it, that I would either finish her across the face or potentially that she might kind of lift up a little bit, just to relieve that pressure and that my arm would slip under. And that's kind of what I felt happened. I don't know if she lifted to relieve the pressure. I mean, I think she did, or maybe I am the one who managed to force it under, but probably a little bit of both. Anyway, but yeah, I was working to, if I knew if I could get my hands locked correctly and get my hand behind the head, then whether it was across the face or whether it was under the chin, I knew I could finish it. And then once we kind of roll, and I had my bottom hook in, which is the one that matters, of course. And so as we rolled, then I managed to throw the other hook in, and then I could like really stretch her and really cinch it up. And yeah, of course there was like that moment where I remember thinking like, oh, okay, done, it's done, And then it was just a couple more seconds, and then I got the tap.
Yeah, absolutely. Once that roll happened, I could see in her face, she's like, I don't think I have a way out of this anymore, and there's only one other way, and that's a tap.
Yeah, and it's funny because of course being what my jiu-jitsu pedigree is, you would think that I would have a bunch of submission victories, but this is actually my first submission victory in MMA in at the pros or the amis, because I always end up mounting and ground and pounding. Like almost all my wins have been by TKO, just on the ground. So yeah, it's just kind of fun to finally get my first actual submission in the cage.
Well, it was a thing of beauty for sure. And sometimes that happens. We see that on all levels where like two great strikers match up against each other, and that's the opposite of what they do because they're both trying to avoid doing that against their opponent. So sometimes, even being so good on the mat like you are, people are like, "Well, I want to avoid that." So instead, they get punched in the face a dozen times.
Yeah. Well, look, I don't get in the cage to do jiu-jitsu. I get in the cage to fight. I love doing jiu-jitsu. I love jiu-jitsu tournaments. I've done, hundreds of them, and I plan to do more, of course. I'm going to compete in jiu-jitsu my whole life, but look, I'm not in the cage to like avoid the striking. If I
Right.
wanted to avoid the striking, I would stick to my tournaments. But no, I like to fight. I like to test myself, and I wanna see what I have everywhere, and I know I have a lot of skills everywhere. So you're never gonna see me shy away from the striking.
Absolutely, and that's the way to be. Now you train out of quite a few places. We were talking about that before you came on, and I like the diversity of everything. So give everybody kind of a quick rundown of all the different gyms you represent.
Yeah, so I represent my own gym. It's the gym that I own and that I teach at. It's Willow's Jiu-Jitsu and MMA. So that's the flag that I fly. That's my official gym. And then the gyms that I train out of personally are Brito MMA, which is my head MMA coach is Daniel Brito. We've been together since 2019. I found him as an 0-2 amateur, and he, turned my amateur career around, made me really successful. I found a lot of success with him, and then we're 4-2 as pros now, so it's cool. So Brito MMA is just a small private club. I get a lot of one-on-one attention there, obviously a lot of mitts, a lot of time just breaking down a little particular thing, strategy. And then I train over at Team Alpha Male, Uriah Faber's gym almost every morning, and there's just a fantastic protein there, and a lot of great training partners, great looks. And then for my jiu-jitsu, I train at Precision Jiu-Jitsu Academy, and that is Chad Bingham and Sarah McMahon's gym. And of course, Sarah McMahon being an Olympic silver medalist wrestler and former UFC fighter, I get amazing, wrestling technique from her. And DJ Robertson runs a Muay Thai program over there, and I always go to those Saturday Muay Thai sessions. So yeah, all over the place, but I feel like it's great to go get those different things that I need for my game, just to collect all my different skills, all my knowledge, wherever I need to get it. And I've always valued being an independent fighter, and finding my own way, and just taking responsibility for my training. It's what I need. I know what I need, and then I just need to seek out that knowledge and keep improving on all the things. There's so much, of course, I need to continue improving on, but and just depending on what I'm focused on at that moment dictates which school I'm going to be attending a little more heavily that week. But I always do at least 2 sessions every morning, sometimes 3. But yeah, I'm running around from gym to gym a lot.
Hey, sometimes you got to do that. If you're building a house, you don't go to just one department in your local home improvement store. You got to go to all the departments because you need a little bit from everywhere.
Totally.
And of course, we're talking to Invicta FC fighter and recent winner, Joy Pendell. Uh, I want to circle back to this, not just because she was on here, but for one, you were the only post-fight interview of the entire night. I don't know if you realize that, and you were only one of 2 that were actual early finishes. The one, I think it was the fight right before yours, was a TKO, ground strikes. But you 2 were the only quick finishes. I think they just ran out of TV time, but that's just my opinion. But when you were asked post-fight, um, there was one name that come out of your mouth, and then you kind of said, "Yeah, of course, I still want to keep doing well in the division and those kind of things." But you mentioned your previous opponent, and you still want to match up with her, correct?
Yeah, for sure. So my previous opponent was Krista Timms, and she got injured unfortunately and had to pull out of the bout. And look, I completely understand. Especially, Chris and I, we're both in our 30s, and we have plenty of fight left in us, of course. But the deeper you get into your 30s, obviously, the more things can happen. So yeah, totally understandable, and I wish her the best, and hopefully she heals up quick. But yeah, I feel like we're a great matchup for each other, and the sooner we can rebook that and fight each other, the better. Of course, I don't want to wait around. So if she's not
Right.
available for a while, I'm willing to fight whoever. I want to just continue to grow and build myself. So yeah, if I get an opportunity in April, I would love to take a matchup then. And then whenever Chris is better, if she's still willing to take that fight, I would love to rebook that.
I haven't gotten any feedback. I haven't gotten an actual answer from her from that because I did pose that question to her just in a chat, but I don't think she would shy away from it either. She said the same early on was that she was looking forward to matching up with you, and I think it'd be a great fight. I hope it's higher on the card, but I think it'd be a great fight.
Totally.
But let's see. I, and another thing, people didn't hear the fun story I told you. The tie-in to your walkout song. It's an obvious choice given your name, but you come out to Three Dog Night, Joy to the World. How did you come across that song?
So I first heard that song when I was in college, and just had some really good memories associated with that song. And then it just kind of goes with my vibe, honestly. I'm a happy, grateful person, just grateful to be a martial artist, and just here to improve myself and do my thing, walk my path, So yeah, I enjoyed the song, and then I've just always walked out to that song ever since day one, ever since my first fight. And funny story, after I won my A1 title, my featherweight championship for them, I brought my belt to a Three Dog Night concert because they were in Sacramento, and the whole band signed my A1 belt. So yeah, I have a lot of special memories with with that song and with that band.
See, that's what I tell people is we're all collectors of things. And I try not to buy so many one of one items, then create one of one experiences. And that's a one of one item and a one of one experience that is just it's off the charts great. They seem like good people.
Totally.
Maybe they'll get you up there to sing. I mean, can you play any instruments or anything?
I can hold a tune. I play guitar. Yeah, we can do it.
See, look at that. People don't even know that you play guitar or not. How long have you been playing guitar?
Since high school, and then I was raised playing piano too. So yeah, piano and guitar, and yeah, I sing. Like I was in the choir too. So a little bit of
See,
everything.
look at this. Finding all kinds of hidden talents today. But I know you have a busy day, so let's end on a couple last ones here. Um, you said you want to fight maybe in April. So what's kind of next on your itinerary? And are you going to reach out to Invicta, or are you going to wait on them to reach out to you? Is there a certain training you're going to do, or you're just going to kind of you know do kind of a base build right now until you know your next move?
Well, I told myself I had to at least wait till Monday after my fight before I started texting everyone, and I did. I waited till Monday, but no, of course, after a win and I took no damage, I'm so excited to just get back in there and keep the momentum going. And it's my goal to try to get 5 fights this year, and I've already gotten one. So if I can get 4 more, I would just be the happiest girl in the world. Now that I've gone pro, I've been pro for 15 months now. I've already had 6 fights, and I just want to. It was always my plan that as soon as I went pro, it's like we just go for it. We get as many fights as we can. Obviously, not just taking like any reckless matchup. I mean, we still
Yeah.
have to be. I still have to be appropriately matched to the person, but it's cool. I see I'm already starting to get higher and higher level opponents. I started out with a girl that was 0-1 for my first fight, and then I did a debuter, and then I did another debuter, and so, but I've continued to fight tougher and tougher girls every time, and yeah, and I just want to I just want to be as busy as possible, and I'm not under contract with anybody. I just do fight by fight contracts. So I texted Invicta and told them I'm available. And I texted A1 and said I'm available. And of course, I have some girls in mind for A1 that they could potentially match me with. And then in Invicta, there's a lot of girls on the roster that I feel would make a good, a fair, appropriate matchup for me. So yeah, whoever gives me an opportunity first, and then if there's any other organizations that want to put me on their show, I mean, again, I'm a free agent. I'm just here to fight. So if I can get appropriate matchup, I'm willing to take the match.
See, I like that aspect. That's a lot of how I like to do life is kind of freelance and keep control of a lot of stuff. And I know Invicta and UFC and PFL are all going to get mad at me for saying that, but I also do freelance with them. I'm not under contract with them either for the same reason. So I think that's definitely a really cool way to be. Um, what would be your message either to fans about why they should check out not only your fights, but just where women's MMA is right now. Between pro wrestling and MMA, like women's side of everything is just exploding right now with so much talent. You guys are just off the charts great at this. What's your message to the fans as to why they should check this out?
Well, every division is exciting in its own way and has its different strengths and weaknesses, and just the strategy of how different people, different divisions fight, and how women fight each other is just a little different than how the men fight each other. And yeah, it's exciting and it's great, and we're growing, obviously, that side of the sport. And fans who are in passionate about martial arts, passionate about seeing different martial arts skill sets on display. Definitely, you got to check out the women's fighting. You're not a fight fan if you don't watch the men's and the women's. That there's so much there. And as far as why fans ought to follow me, if you go back and watch some of my original amateur fights, which are on YouTube, and then continue through the pros, you'll see all my progress, how much I've changed and grown, and how even in my losses, I learned things from my losses, and then I just use that information to come back stronger. Wins or losses, I learned stuff from every single fight, and I'm growing and improving rapidly. I've been at this for 10.5 years now since I started training, and I feel like just now everything is really coming together, and especially since I've gone pro. It's been coming together really quickly. So I'm excited about what the future holds, and I encourage fans to, get on board now because I have a lot further that I'm going to go. And it's gonna be a treat for everybody to see, to see it and see it unfold. So yeah, don't miss out. Just keep an eye on me, and there's gonna be a lot of fights ahead. And trust me, I'm all about wanting to make my fights exciting, and just try everything. I feel good everywhere. So to be able to go in there and just flow and go where the fight takes me, and it doesn't matter. Maybe we'll strike, maybe we'll clinch, maybe we'll grapple, maybe we'll. I mean, who knows? Like, who knows what's gonna happen? So, um, yeah, you don't want to miss out.
Absolutely. And finally, as you said, people that do want to follow you, because I'm sure there are, you know, uh, children all around the world, and maybe even young fighters that are looking, and maybe they identify with you for some way or another. So, how can they follow you through the social medias or whatever channel?
Yeah, I'm Killjoy Jiu Jitsu online. So on Instagram, Facebook, X, Threads, Killjoy Jiu Jitsu, you can find me right there. And it's on the back of my fight shorts, too, if you have trouble spelling. Um, and yeah, the other thing I just want fans to know is I found this sport when I was 24 years old, not in particularly good shape or anything. I mean, I was just like a normal girl. I wasn't like terribly out of shape, but I wasn't, I wasn't a fighter. I wasn't an athlete by any means. I just was a 24-year-old that was looking for a hobby and just some sort of fun workout, and just wandered into a jiu-jitsu class. And the point is, martial arts is for everybody. It just doesn't matter what your physical attributes are, because the interesting thing about martial arts is no matter what you have, there's a way to make it work for you. And that's always been my philosophy in my entire life, is no matter what happens and no matter what cards I'm dealt, you can do something with that. There's always a way to use things to your advantage. So that's just part of why I love martial arts so much. You can always find a way. There's always a path. You just have to find it. Um, and yeah, over the last 10 and a half years, gosh, I've changed so much, and I've grown so much, and I've learned so much. And anybody can, I'm not anything special. I'm just a very normal person. So anybody who wants to learn and wants to get into it, I encourage you to get into it, chase your dreams. I mean, and hey, even if you never actually, even if you don't become a pro fighter and you don't go that far, look, like, anybody can sign up for a little white belt tournament and just get out there and try it. And even if you never want to compete, at least just get in there and learn a few things. Um, and yeah, it's just all about self-improvement.
Well, Joy, it has been a real treat and a real joy, for lack of a better way to put it, having you on the show tonight. We wish you all the best in the future, and you are welcome back anytime. Whether you got a fight coming up, if there's anything you want to talk about.
Awesome. Thank you so much.